If you love hurricanes, daiquiris, and, well, any rum cocktail, listen up. Captain Morgan's about to shake things up like never before. We're talking Bourbon Street, New Orleans, home to legendary drinks and unforgettable moments. But what if we told you the most iconic cocktails here have one thing in common? Hint, it's not bourbon. That's right, it's rum. And Captain Morgan is bringing unforgettable fun to Bourbon Street in a way you won't want to miss. Get ready for something big as we gear up for Super Bowl 59. Make sure to keep your eyes on NOLA's most iconic street. Who knows, Bourbon Street might just need a new name. Stay tuned for clues and get ready for the most legendary adventure yet. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spice Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company, New York, New York.
Reese on the radio.
There must be some mistake. You're black?
Annoying Negro since 1969.
Of Reese on the radio. Whack FM.
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
What's going on, all you scallywags out there? You know what time it is. It's time for the world's most hated and most racist online show in America. It's the Reese on the Radio Rundown with yours truly, Mr. Reese on the radio. And I'm here usually every weekday at this time. I've actually, my bad, I got to do something here because I knew I should have done it before, but I always forget something. It's usually my biggest mistake or my greatest mistake is that I didn't handle this. And there it is. That's exactly it. There we go. Anyway, we're back. Plenty of news, plenty of views, as usual, to talk about on this wonderful day that the Lord has made. By the way, if you're trying to email me, call me, or text me, and I'm not responding to you, it's not my fault. It's because that my phone is not on vibrate, and it's not like I'm not receiving any messages because I'm literally in the middle of a move. And I'll admit everybody else is doing the work, but I'm doing logistic stuff in general. So I'm a little caught up doing all of that stuff. Is the chat room on? Is the chat room up and popping? Okay, I hope it is. It looks like it is. So weekend, great, quiet, nothing really going on. Had some food at a Korean barbecue restaurant over, so I want to give Bernard a big shout. I also DJ'd over the weekend for a good friend of mine, Mooney. DJ'd for him. That was great. Little wiki on the ones and twos. I bought a new hat, as you can see, the triple nickel, which is a military group of Native Americans, but I'll go look them up. Triple nickel. Find out what that's about. Always supporting the troops. Somebody's in Facebook jail again. Oh, it's White Mike. White Mike. Facebook jail again. World Series coming back to Philly. Congratulations to Philly. Bryce Harper probably won't. Finally, he gets the World Series that he was looking for. He had to leave Washington to go to the Phillies, and now the Phillies are in again, so he doesn't look like a jerk leaving the Nationals, because once he left the Nationals went to the World Series and won in Washington. He goes to the Phillies. Phillies finally end up in a World Series, so congratulations to Philadelphia. When was the last time Philadelphia had a World Series? Has it been over 10 years? It's been a while. Who was the first baseman? Big Head. It's the at least no Yankees. That's right. Thank God no Yankees. I don't want the Yankees in there at all. So congratulations to the Phillies for that. I think, I don't know if the Phillies might, 2009. And that's Ryan Howard. That's right. Lost to the Yankees. Ryan Howard was the first baseman. Big Head, the first baseman. A lot of comparisons to him and Dave Ortiz, Big Papi. I don't think so. Ryan Howard, that was his name. What was I going to say? Oh, anyway, enough about that. Like I said, I had Korean barbecue. So I went to a Korean barbecue restaurant over the weekend. And I got a firsthand look at a phenomenon I did not know and or understand. And I would like to give a mad shout out to the, how do I put this? The rhythmless, lack of melanin count, extremely obsessed with nautical gear, synchronized dancing stylings of every girl in a K-pop group. These young ladies are creepy. They scare me, and I'm almost certain I'm going to have nightmares about them. I was at a Korean restaurant, and it's a chain Korean restaurant. Apparently, it's very popular. I've never been to one before, but I went to this one. And they had on the screen nothing but K-pop music videos. The interesting part is that I know that there's a K-pop group out there called BTS, and it's kind of like a boy band, like a typical NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. But this one restaurant had no boy bands, no male K-pop stars. It was all girls. Now, they had about 2 solo artists. They never popped up the name, and if they did, it was in Korean, so I didn't get a chance to see them. For those of you who don't know what K-pop is, it's Korean pop music, hence the name. And these girls were, I'm not going to play the music videos here because they scared the hell out of me. Listen, whoever it is who's in charge of making the Broom House horror films, please, will you get on making a K-pop horror movie? Because all of these girls look very weird. It's live anime. That's what they look like. They all look like Sailor Moon meets Pokemon meets Dragon Ball Z. I don't know what it is. But they've got no rhythm, they've got no shape, and they all like do these moves like they're supposed to be sexy, but it all looks bad. I can't. It is a hot mess. Just look up K-pop and just watch it. It's all synchronized dancing and all this other craziness and whatnot. And they've even got a couple of like hip hop. Like they've got one girl in every group who's kind of hip hoppy. But every other girl in the band looks like one false move would subject her to a mercy killing. Like that's It's really bad. Really, really bad. There will come a time when all the Koreans get eyelid surgery. Yeah, but you got to understand, like, all of the music videos, which is, I couldn't stop. So imagine me eating at a restaurant, and I'm just like this on the screen, looking at the screen. Because it was freaking me. I didn't know it was like a train wreck. I couldn't stop staring. So I feel like I should play some maybe this week. I will play some of the weirdest ones that I saw, because you'll get a feel of what it looks like. I just don't know. I don't even understand, but it is a phenomenon. But it was an amazing thing to do this weekend. Anyway, more news and more views that you can shake a stick at. I want to talk about this. There is something I never thought that I would see. I was always interested in the politics of a town called Dearborn, Michigan. You may know this town. I know, White Mike, you know Dearborn, Michigan. It is predominantly Muslim. Okay? It is overwhelmingly Muslim in Dearborn, Michigan. I do believe that Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar are very prominent in these areas as politicians. But it is heavily, heavily Muslim. And with everything we've heard about these school board meetings, one of the groups that I heard very little from was the Muslim community. And because, what did we hear? We heard a whole bunch of stuff about how all of these parents were radical conservatives. We even heard Merrick Garland from the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, was sicking the FBI on some of these family members because they considered them domestic terrorists because school board members and school board presidents felt threatened. So the Muslim community was really like out. They were not anywhere near top of mind. Because in my mind, I would think that certain areas of the United States that the woke agenda for schools would steer clear of heavily ethnic areas. Right? Now, the black community, not so much. Right? If it was pushed by the black community, they would eventually accept it. Right? That would weed that way into the African American community, and that community would, they would weigh out how much money that town gets, and they would choose to go with the woke agenda, because they would have something to gain from that. The Asian community wouldn't need that. You can't mess with them. They're more profitable than any other group in the country, even white people. Asian kids make a crap load more money, and that's because nothing is off limits when it comes to Asian students, when it comes to careers. They will do any job as long as it pays them six figures. So you don't have to worry about whether or not we got enough Asians as engineers. You don't have to worry about whether or not we got enough Asians as doctors. We don't have to worry about whether or not we got Asians as scientists. They all take up everything, right? If it gets a job, the Asians will go to school, get a degree, and dominate. That's why they're wealthier than their white counterparts. You're not going to see this in the Haitian community. I didn't think you'd see it in the Haitian community because the Haitians, they will go ape on your ass. But there's not a real strong Haitian, maybe a little Haiti in Florida. But the Haiti community, not so much. The West Indian community, not so much. You couldn't really pull a woke agenda there. There will be no LGBTQ community in the Jamaican communities. They will lick a shot before they take on the body business. That's what they think. But the Muslims, the Muslim community, if there's anything I thought the woke agenda would stay the hell away from, it would be the Muslim community. But they did not. And this is in Dearborn, Michigan, and here's a Muslim father. And when I saw this, as soon as he stepped up, listen to the crowd as he greets them when he gets to the podium.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. So,
you heard that? Assalamu alaikum. Malaikum assalam. Niggas say, Allahu Akbar. That's what somebody screams in the background. Assalamu alaikum. Malaikum assalam. Allahu Akbar. Listen to him.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. So I want to first start out by saying one thing. Any of the teachers that are here, our beef is not with you. Our beef is with you. So let me get that out of the way. Now, last month, I came to the board meeting for the first time in my life. And we read some of the material that was in these so-called books. The Great Sex App Debate. There's actual reviews about Grindr saying how good it is. I have used Grindr. The advantages are you can get what you want quickly. This is from the book. I've met a variety of interesting people through sex apps. They're predominantly used for sex though. They're sold to us as social networking apps, but we all know what they're really for. I don't have a problem with that aspect of it. If people want casual sex, then something like Grindr is a must.
So Amy's asking, where is this? Dearborn, Michigan. This is in Dearborn, Michigan, a predominantly Muslim group, Muslim society.
And we read that too last month.
If you love hurricanes, daiquiris, and, well, any rum cocktail, listen up. Captain Morgan's about to shake things up like never before. We're talking Bourbon Street, New Orleans, home to legendary drinks and unforgettable moments. But what if we told you the most iconic cocktails here have one thing in common? Hint? It's not bourbon. That's right, it's rum. And Captain Morgan is bringing unforgettable fun to Bourbon Street in a way you won't want to miss. Get ready for something big as we gear up for Super Bowl 59. Make sure to keep your eyes on NOLA's most iconic street. Who knows? Bourbon Street might just need a new name. Stay tuned for clues and get ready for the most legendary adventure yet. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spice Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company, New York, New York.
And you looked at us like we were some kind of crazy people speaking to you, like almost like we had nothing to like we had nothing to say. Now, does anybody need a college education or a PhD to know that this book is not appropriate for kids? Why in God's name do we need to have some complicated process? This is strictly just common sense, guys. How did we get to this point? So, when I mentioned this last week, I thought what's going to happen is you guys would be like, okay, you know what, you parents, you have a point. We'll work on making our processes more robust. These books absolutely do not belong in the library. But instead, what happened was the exact opposite. We were viciously attacked, social media and beyond social media. Even people like me, people trying to get me fired from work, and yet at the same time, they are attacking us while at the same time being the victim. And all along, all you guys are silent. What exactly are you doing?
Now, that's an interesting place for the Muslim community to be, because we're talking about the woke, liberal, progressive left who have been screaming about Islamophobia, about not accepting their way of life, about how their way of life needs to be, protected at all costs. And here they're screaming and hollering saying, hey, you're violating our way of life. And the progressives saying, no, screw you. The woke left even went after members of the Muslim community's jobs to get them fired from their jobs. This agenda was so important. Oh, Islamophobia be damned. Their attitude was F those Muslims and their way of life. This agenda is important. I would rather be an Islamophobe than to keep my gay agenda out of that school.
So let me say this. I have faith in the great people of Dearborn, okay? The vast majority of people in Dearborn agree with us. We are a compassionate people. We are a tolerant people. We are a faithful people. And at the same time, we are a courageous people. And we're not going to give up until this issue is finally resolved. And unfortunately, it's not going to get resolved until you guys are removed from the board.
Rousing applause. Now, I never thought that I would say this, nor did I ever think I would see it. But you think about an entire society coming full circle. Many moons after 9/11, it was argued by progressives, liberals, and Democrats that it was patriotic conservatives who were the biggest Islamophobes, the ones who cared the least about black and brown people in this country. And now, if you were to look at it, what would you think today, listening to this Muslim community sound off on a school board that is trying to bring books about homosexuality into the classroom? Think about what that turns on its head. Wait a minute. The Muslim community and the conservative Republican community are on the same side? Pushing back against progressives? Who'd have thunk? Why is the Latino community, another brown group of people, why are they becoming more and more conservatives due to progressive agendas? Could they be pushing so many ridiculous ideas that they are pushing more and more of those people who they claim to be for? They're pushing them away? Why? There are two issues, folks, two issues that radical leftist progressives have hitched their wagon to. And the horses are wild. I would even go so, they have hooked themselves to 100 wild horses. They've hooked their agenda to them going down a cliff. And I think their objective is to do nothing more than to destroy their own mission. Let's get to the phones real quick, I'm assuming, because I haven't been here for a while. Make sure you turn down your phone. Make sure you turn down your phone, Fritz, before I put you on. No, you're coming in good. I just don't want to hear myself in the background.
Oh, okay. I turned away now.
No, there you go.
All
right.
I'm going to go into the kitchen.
That's okay. You're good to go. We got Fritz on the line. What's up, Fritz?
It's amazing because, even part of, the society doesn't realize that I'm a redhead person and I'm a minority. I don't worry about skin color. I don't care about skin color.
But even if you don't, look, listen, we understand that the radical left sees everything from the prism of color and race and all that other stuff. But don't you think it's a little odd that, think about this, right? It's now, we're 21 years removed from September 11th. 10 years ago, it was us being accused, conservatives being accused of being these fundamental racists against anything black and brown. And now...
Yeah, but we never were.
Yeah, of course not. But now, look at this. You've got the Muslim community here in Dearborn. You've got the Latino community overwhelmingly switching to Republican, and even a large number of African Americans leaving the party, leaving liberal Democrats and joining conservative or independents. And it's all because of two core agendas, and that is the radical LGBTQ community and abortion. Those are the two issues.
That's all they have. They have abortion, and they have what's the other thing that Ned is running on? Abortion, and he cut taxes. Okay, he cut taxes. Okay, well, sure. I can list everything that he did not cut.
Well,
oh my God!
Ned is actually doing
running on a race card. Running on a race card? You got to be kidding me!
Well, they're running. Listen, what I mean by that is first of all, they can't run on a race card. So here's what they're running on, right? They're running on the civil liberties of the gay lesbian agenda, right? That's what they're talking about. They're talking about
cares?
civil rights. I know, but they
Let
care.
them go live their gay life in the closet somewhere. It's not my problem. It's not your problem either.
It's
Let
nobody's
them have
problem.
their gay life. Nobody's bothering them. Let them have their crazy parties and dress up as animals and do all kinds of crazy stuff. It's not my problem.
Now, you don't sound stereotypical at all.
No, I'm not. Everybody gets to live their life the way they want to live it. If I don't like it, I don't care. Gay people stop over here and hang out and stuff. We do karaoke, whatever. They leave their, their weird beliefs out of the whole equation.
But
It's just fine.
White Mike said in the chat room, he says, gay activists never ordered a gay wedding cake from a Muslim bakery.
No, they won't. Muslim people are not into that whole thing. They're not into that. They're very,
that's the whole thing. Is that's
they're very.
But that's the part I don't understand, Fritz. Is that you'd have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to think that you are going to push anything like this book is gay in a school where the township is predominantly Muslim. You have to be an absolute idiot if you thought that was going to fly.
Because the parents are going to freak out. You can't push that kind of crap on your kids. It's just not going to happen.
And not in the Muslim community, who I would consider. I mean, you can pick any group of people who are traditionalists, so to speak. Like you could rag on conservatives and saying, oh, they believe in liberty and guns and all that. You could say whatever you want about conservatives, but like Muslim as a faith, their traditionalism, as it were, is real. Like it's like hardcore. It's like no liquor.
Yeah, but they won't they're not going to accept anything that anybody tries to push on them. They're just going to do what they got to do.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I wouldn't turn over that apple cart for any agenda. If anything, I would have said, if I'm the school board in Dearborn, Michigan, and the Muslim neighborhood turns around and says, I want you to get these books out of the school, I just look at them and I go, okay, my apologies. We'll get these out of your school immediately, and never bring that to, don't cause a national uproar. Yeah, exactly. Don't let the cameras actually roll into your town and say, wait a minute, did the progressives try to bring homosexuality into a Muslim community? What are you, stupid?
That's absolutely very stupid. That's a really stupid thing to do. Because, I mean, the only thing that Democrats want to do, honestly, in our country is divide the nation.
Well, yeah.
They want to divide the nation, white, black, all this stuff. My best friends are black. Everybody's diverse. What are these people thinking?
Fritz,
what is wrong with their thinking?
Fritz, what part of town are you living in? I don't want an address or anything, but what part of town do you live up in Connecticut?
I live on the Berlin Turnpike, right in the middle of it, where I've got my karaoke and my radio station. Yes, I got a radio station, amateur radio station, and we're right here on the Turnpike.
Do you have it? You got an amateur radio station?
Yeah, of course I do.
How many watts do you have?
Right now, 150.
About 100. Well, that's not bad. Do you have an online access to listen to the station yet?
Yeah, I just haven't been using it lately. I mean, I can, but just there's just so much going on. I haven't been following it all that much.
Listen to me, Fritz. Publish or perish, as we say. Publish or perish. You got an amateur radio station. You need to be getting that on and popping.
I could put a 3,000 watt tower up, no problem. I have one right in the backyard, just laying on the ground.
Dude, come on, man. You can't. Listen to me. I would give anything if I could do that right now. I put mine up.
Stop over. You're right down the road. You're in Manchester, you're in Manchester or something. Stop over.
Okay.
I'll give you my address off the air.
Okay. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about it off the air. Anyway, but I appreciate the call, Fritz. I got to move on to the next subject.
Yeah, go for it. I'm going to be listening, man. Thank you.
You got it, boss. Thanks. All right, Fritz, the cat from Freedom Fighters, and a big shout out to Freedom Fighters. They wake me up every morning. They are on and popping as early as 5 a.m. giving news and views. And I want to say a condolence to what is his name? And I sound horrible because I've forgotten his name now, but he's an actor. Can you indulge me for a second? I want to play this thing, and his name is I want to say it's John Leslie. Is that his name? Yes.
Who told you that?
Yeah, John Leslie is no, what's his Jordan Leslie? Who is the guy who just died in a car?
Who told you
Jordan.
that?
Leslie Jordan. Gosh. Okay, thank you. Leslie Jordan is his name. That's him. Yeah, Leslie Jordan. Thank you, guys. I wanted to play this. Let me see if I can get this. I want to get this piece that he did because I've seen him in a couple of TV shows, but this one particular one that he did for Cardi B was so hilarious, and it was just days ago I played this for the beautiful one because I thought it was so funny. It was him listening to WAP for the first time. And he is a religious man. A lot of people, I do believe that he is gay. I could be wrong about that. Leslie Jordan listening to WAP, I think it is. I want to see if I can find it real quick because it's so funny. Here it is. Yes, this is just the audio, but you got to watch it if you get a chance. Just please watch it. Here's the audio to it. Let me get this thing up here. Nope, that's a commercial playing. Is this? Nope, that's not it either. Damn it. I didn't have this prepared, so I can't even play it. Yeah, I don't have it. I just have to find it another time. But he was such a funny dude, Leslie Jordan. And yeah, he was. He is gay, right? Yeah, I didn't know. I know he's very religious. I know he's a Baptist. That much I know about him. But he was just so funny, and he's kind of like he's just this Lilliputious individual who is just a ball of fun. Let's go to White Mike real quick. Hold on, Mike. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Hey, man, getting a little kumbaya and some of this gay stuff, to be honest, man.
What's that?
The audience is getting a little kumbaya on this gay stuff.
Well, what do you mean?
The blanket acceptance of these people as normal and equal in their lifestyle has gotten us what we have in the school system now.
So what do you mean by that?
We've all seen libs of TikTok, right? Everyone.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to play some of it now. I'm about to play some of it today.
Well, do you think that hiring these people who are obvious radical homosexuals is a good idea in your school system? Has it benefited you in any way?
Well, it can't benefit me because I don't have to deal with it. But when my younger ones were in school, I'll admit, that was the first time I'd ever seen anyone who was like actively, openly gay involved in the school system. Not that I had a problem with it. I just thought that it was over the top. Like it seemed more about him pushing rainbows and stuff as opposed to being an educator. That was the only part.
If a female teacher, a straight female teacher came into class and she dressed to show off her figure, like she was some smoking hottie, right? Shaped like an hourglass. If this woman came in and was showing off cleavage and had a snatched waist and a tiny skirt, people would complain it's inappropriate.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
But you can have some freak with rainbow colored hair putting up rainbow flags in her classroom and handing out school books on how to give a proper BJ, and that's fine. So no, it's not okay. They should not be hired. There should be appearance standards like we had for teachers when we were growing up. Did you have any teachers that had radical appearance when you were a kid?
Nope. It was unheard of.
No.
It just was. It was unheard of.
They all had normal haircuts and normal hair color, and they wore teacher clothes.
Right? Now hold on for a second. So Roseanne is on, and she's obviously upset about what you have to say about this. Honey, with all due respect, no, it's okay. You got to understand, if you think it's disgusting that people want standards for their children in their schools, especially in appearance standards from the teachers. You've got, again, and Mike, while I got you on here, can you hold on? Because I'm gonna keep you here, but I need Roseanne to see these images before she screams. You can scream and holler at Mike if you want to, but you gotta understand what the images are that people are responding to. It's not about whether or not all gay people are flamboyant. It's not about whether or not all gay people have an agenda to indoctrinate children. That's not the issue. It's what it is that we're seeing that is trying to normalize this behavior. Pay attention. Just watch the video, and you just tell me. Mike, just hold on for a second. Now, for those of you who are watching on the podcast, this is a drag queen up on a stage in the middle of the street, picking up some random parent's child, carrying her on the stage while she is doing a mock striptease and provocatively dancing. Then having the little girl go out and collect dollar bills like she's part of the show of the striptease. And while parents cheer this on. Now, if this were... Now, again, we've had conversations, before I move on this video, Mike, we've had conversations or as dialogues about fathers after a softball game or a Little League baseball game taking their sons to Hooters and mothers saying that was inappropriate because of the dress code.
Feminists lose their shit over Hooters.
Exactly. They lost themselves over taking their prepubescent boys after a Little League game to Hooters because that was and these girls are clothed. Sure, their cleavage is showing, but again, that was too provocative. But this image that you see on the screen with this drag queen dancing with the child, picking them up and having them collect dollars, this is family friendly.
Yeah, I mean, how dare you encourage, and part of it is they don't want to encourage normal male behavior in male children. But it's ingrained. You've seen little kids at Hooters. You've seen a 2-year-old little boy at Hooters stare at a Hooters girl.
Yeah.
Because it's genetic.
Right.
We're genetically programmed to like boobs and butts. It's part of the deal, right? Boobs and butts indicate fertility. It's some caveman stuff.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm so sophomoric. I'm just gonna laugh when you say boobs and butts. You can say that all day and I'll laugh. But hold on. Here's some more. This is after this one. Here's another one where there's a drag queen writhing on the floor, turning, opening up their legs. This is a striptease inside of a mall, and you will see, look at how young the children are that are walking by. Again, this is family friendly. See the little boy there? Standing right there while the drag queen is sitting there with the legs wide open. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. These are two cowgirls who are up on the stage dancing to the Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. But that's not what is the problem here. It's what you see on the stage in front of the two performers that will wreck your soul. And that is this little girl who can't be more than 7, who's twerking in front of them while she is mimicking the performance on stage. Oh no, that you're not supposed to be outraged about it. White Mike is disgusting, but this is family friendly. There's nothing to worry about here. Here's another drag queen inside of a diner, dancing to a song who says, again, what's the song talking about? My pee is good. My wussy good, my wussy sweet, while a little child sits behind him. You listen to the lyrics. They're right here. The drag queen is sitting right in front of a little child, lifting up its dress, while the mother and her aunties are sitting at a table with the little child directly behind the drag queen while she lifts up her dress. with this music
you'll
playing.
You'll notice what's absent in that crowd.
No fathers.
No fathers. So either there are no men to these Shoggoth hose beasts, because there's nothing but a bunch of uneffable cat ladies in that crowd, or the men are so defeated and they've tapped out on their relationship so much they're letting their wives do what they want with the child.
Mm-hmm. And here's some
Both
more of
of
it.
which are sad.
Here's some more of it. And not one of these women decided to shield the girl. Not one.
Not one. Look at the fat one in the background. In the purple muumuu.
Yeah.
Laughing her ass
Laughing
off.
it and making it funny. Now, this was the other thing that Mike was talking about with the teachers handing out rainbow flags. Listen to this teacher. And again, this is looking like, with the exception of the coloring in her hair, she looks like a normal person, but the hair is all colored up. But listen to what she talks about.
Last week, I brought pride flags to school to pass out to students, and we got the whole gang here. And I know they're from Amazon, but we're balling on a budget. And it's so funny the way students walk into the room, because if they know me, they'll walk in and just be like, "Hey, miss, can I get a flag?" But then there's students who don't know me or are in a different school, because there's 2 different schools in our building, and we'll walk in the classroom and be like, is this where I get the flags? And it's so precious. But now, every day, it looks like a pride parade in our hallways, and it's just the best.
So again, what's happening in the school systems, this is what they've hitched their wagons to. So when people are calling it disgusting, or people are saying it's disgusting to point this out or to talk about how horrible this has gotten, there's got to be a measure here, Roseanne. There's got to be some sort of fair exchange of ideas on this case. So if it's disgusting, if Mike is disgusting for pointing out that what they're doing is horrific to kids, what say you about what's going on with these actual people? It's not like Mike is grabbing his stuff out of the ether that what they're doing is despicable. You get to see it. It's right in front of your eyes. What are they doing? Is this despicable? Should it be reined in? Should somebody calm it the F down? Shouldn't somebody say something? And maybe what you might think about what Mike says about it may be disgusting or despicable, but let me ask you this simple question. Is he wrong? You may not like what he says, but is he wrong?
Go ahead. Liberals, and I'm going to make a blanket statement here, don't like to have holes poked in their bullshit.
That's true.
They have a programmed set of beliefs that they haven't really delved into the subject matter very deeply. You coined a phrase years ago called soundbite newsy.
Yeah.
And that's what these women are. And it's primarily women, because women are emotionally driven creatures who want things to be nice and people to get along, except in their home life. Okay? Mm-hmm. They don't want to make waves. They don't want to feel like they're picking on anybody. They've been told that all of these people are victims. Oh, these poor gay people, or these poor trans people, or these poor Muslim people, or these poor migrants. Yeah. They're all oppressed and they're special. But they're not oppressed at all. They have power. Yeah. They have the most power.
They do. And nowadays,
you know who doesn't have power, and it's going to piss Roseanne off? Straight white men. Straight white men have no power, as Kanye said. You can't say squat. Nothing. Yeah. Like if you're a straight white guy and you say, I don't want my son being taught by a purple-haired, septum-pierced lesbian who's giving him pride flags, you're the devil.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, there are going to be gay teachers, yes, but they need to shut the F up about it. Put on their they need to put on their boring teacher clothes, male and female, have a boring sellout haircut, and stick to the curriculum.
That's it.
I don't need to know what you do in your home life.
That's all it's about.
My teachers did in their home life. I went to school for 14 years. I had a couple years of college. I didn't know squat even about my college professors' lives. Mm-hmm. I went to school It was Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so. I got my work and I went home. And while our schools are teaching our children all of this destructive social crap, everything from gender identity to LGBTQ to critical race theory to all of this, the Chinese kids are learning calculus in 5th grade.
Yeah. And it's the reason why it's why they're much better prepared than ours.
Dude, we're dumber than the Europeans.
Clearly.
The European?
Yeah.
Go talk to a Swede. Talk to a Swede. Those dudes come out of high school knowing advanced mathematics and 3 languages.
Yep.
Our kids come out of high school knowing that white people oppress black people, and it's totally okay to change your gender if you want to. And it goes across culture. I know I'm rambling. I'm in a mood.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm a culture warrior.
I know.
A lot of people think my obsession with pop culture is kind of immature and unimportant.
It's not.
But no, pop culture is our legacy for the future.
That's correct.
That's what shapes the general culture.
And that's the reason why
right now.
You're so right about that, because that's why I literally, there are so many things, and I think that's the reason why you and I connect in such a way, Mike, is because I've always said politics and culture intertwine, right? They are.
Absolutely.
As I always say, I'm the culture critic at large, because I believe that everything that happens in our culture sets our future. And if you start diminishing our traditions, you start eliminating those things, those normal traditional values, then anything goes. And after a while, it's anarchy.
And it ties into what the communists do. When the communists take over a place, they tear down all the landmarks of that society's achievements.
That's right.
That's why the communists are wanting to tear down Confederate war statues. That's why they tore down Thomas Jefferson. They want to take down Lincoln and George Washington. It's not because these people own slaves. That's not it at all. They don't give a crap about that. It's because these are people who are icons for, I hate to say the white people, but yes, they're taking down white people's heroes.
Yep.
Because they don't want you to have heroes as a white person.
That's right.
They want you to feel bad about being a white person.
That's right.
And, you oppress black people. Never mind, by the way, they never want to talk about this, that society as we know it globally is because of white people, and particularly white Christians. We civilize the world.
And the way that you demean that, is by referring to them as colonizers and oppressors.
Yes, but was Africa better or worse off during colonial times?
Way better.
Way better. Thank you very much.
Everybody knows that.
Are the Native Americans living a better life now than they were before we showed up?
I'd have to argue yes.
Yes. When the Native Americans were here by themselves, there's this myth that they were these peaceful, peyote smoking, nomadic, happy people.
And you're right.
They were savage warrior murderers. They killed each other for fun. They raped women to death. They scalped each other. Dude, I'm from Louisiana. The capital of Louisiana is Baton Rouge. Do you know why it's called Baton Rouge?
Tell me, isn't that Battle Red?
No, Baton Rouge in French means red stick.
Yeah, red stick, yes.
When the French settlers got to that area, they met Native American tribes who were putting their enemies' heads on pikes, and the stick turned red from the blood. That's why they call it Baton Rouge. So, yeah, no. White Christianity totally fixed that. We civilized the Japanese. The Japanese are way better once Whitey showed up and told them how to run a government than they were before. Way better. We modernized them. We modernized Korea. Korea was a shithole before the Korean War.
It's not still a shithole? North Korea's a shithole.
No. Yeah, South Korea is a fantastic.
Oh, no, South Korea is, forget about it.
Great cities in the world.
I just did a whole dissertation about South Korea and their K-pop.
Yeah, like everything, even India. Like, do you think India would have gotten where they are if the British didn't colonize them for 400 years?
Another good point, because it's so funny, because that was just argued after the Queen died. It was about what England did for India.
Well, what's the only semi-functioning country in the continent of South Africa? The one that actually has an economy. It's South Africa.
South Africa, yep.
And why is that?
European influence.
Because Europeans ran it. Anyway, get back to the culture stuff.
You got it. Okay.
With this gay and trans stuff. If you will look at what's failing. And I think capitalism, the market will eventually win out because people will choose how they spend their money. That's the ultimate rule. The customer's always right in all things.
Absolutely.
If you will look at what has failed in the much vaunted Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they have had failure after failure after failure for 2 years. They've had one movie make money in 2 years, and that's Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Why is that? It's because it's the one non-woke movie they put out in the last 2 years. That's it. Everything else they put out has been woke and forced diversity and bullshit, and the audience is rejecting it. The audience rejected Shang-Chi. The audience rejected Eternals because it was gay.
God,
the
was that
audience
awful.
The audience rejected Black Widow because it was girl power, anti-man bullcrap, and they gender swapped Taskmaster at the end.
Yep.
The audience has rejected Onward, the Disney movie, because Disney announced there was a lesbian character in it, and it failed. The audience has turned away from Lightyear, which is the most catastrophic failure in their history. The audience rejected She-Hulk. The audience is going to reject Wakanda Forever. I'm going to spoil a movie for your audience. Yeah, Shuri is Black Panther now.
I know. Yeah, everybody knows now. It's no longer. I don't think that they
is-
wanted it to be a secret anymore. I think everybody knew it was
it's
sort of like an open secret.
It's still kind of a secret because when you watch the trailer, Shuri in the Black Panther costume gets about 3 seconds and it's kind of vaguely shot. I think they're hoping to get a bunch of normal, non-geek culture following Black fathers who loved the first movie because it was a positive role model for their sons who need one.
Yeah.
And now it's gone. So I think a lot of fathers are going to go see this not knowing what it's about and be shocked that it basically looks like Waiting to Exhale 2 set in Africa.
I'm going to let you go with that one.
And one more.
Go ahead.
Swift. And
Yeah, I
love
saw
Taylor
the
Swift,
Don't Get Me Started.
all her warts and shit.
Don't get me
Dude,
started on Taylor Swift.
For your audience, in the video for an upcoming song,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift has cast a Black trans man to be the love interest.
Yeah, I know.
So we might have to see Taylor Swift,
Take a
the
huge
genetic
dive.
lottery winner of white woman,
Yeah.
kiss a woman who had her boobs cut off
Damn.
and has a beard. So welcome to hell. It's not going to affect her because she's bigger than Jesus at this point. But, oh, my God, Lee, that's where we are. So anyway, get back to your show. Good
Thank
rant.
you.
Bye.
My pleasure. White Mike, everybody. Who always angers every liberal who listens to this show. I try to warn you. Don't let that man near a microphone. He will kill it every time. Anyway, moving on, we have got to go to what's happening in the midterm elections, which are going to come up really soon. MSNBC actually took a moment to go out and ask voters what they are interested in. What is the issue that they are going to go and vote on come this November, just 15 days away? Here's what they had to say and what their issue is.
So that's Bucks County. Those are the swing voters who decide statewide presidential elections, obviously. So what was on their mind when you talked to them? Abortion important to them, but other issues perhaps more so.
And there's certainly a lot of passion about abortion, but they're upset about crime. And they say that crime is going up in Bucks County, and that's also what we heard in more visceral terms from the African-American voters in Philadelphia, who described just the day-to-day crime wave that they're experiencing and how they see an upswing over the last 10 years.
Now, the people over at MSNBC are listening to these voters for the first time, but they always seem like, and this is the Morning Joe program, they hear every day on other networks about the crime that's going on. But the MSNBC seems to be stunned when they find out that the voters are concerned about crime. So here are black voters here are swing voters. These are people who voted for Joe Biden, some of them. When they're asked about whether or not they're going to vote for somebody based upon abortion, which they believed this summer was a huge issue they would win on.
But I want to go specifically to this one just snippet of what happened when we asked swing voters from Bucks County if they were going to vote based on abortion. And let's watch that.
Will any of you vote specifically based on a politician's views on abortion?
No.
Strictly no.
No. No. And they were stunned by that. They also went and talked to some black voters in Bucks County. This is in Philadelphia. Here's what they had to say when they were talking. Again, these are Biden supporters.
Should Joe Biden run again?
No.
That was quick. Wow. Couldn't finish my sentence. Why shouldn't Joe Biden run again in 2024?
Because too many people will not vote for him.
No.
I agree with he's in class, but you don't know if he's really in class.
You could put anybody up next to him and they're going to get it. And that's not good.
A lot of people think he's mentally unwell, and maybe they think it's his age, dementia, whatever. Again, if we had a doctor that would tell us that, it would be a different story. But I think he's getting a bad rap because of his age. But I don't think that he should run again. No, I don't think he could beat anybody.
Now, again, swing voters, women, some of them African American, but all Biden supporters. They immediately said, nope. Should Biden run? Nope. Absolutely not. It put anybody next to him and they would beat him. These are Biden voters. And another point to make about this is remember, the only place that's reporting that Joe Biden may have a cognitive issue is Fox News. You know, the dreaded, evil Fox News. These people are swing voters who voted for Joe Biden, who more than likely watch MSNBC and CNN. They're probably excited to be on that network. But even they are asking questions about his cognitive acuity. Now, does that mean that they're watching Fox News, or maybe this is resonating because he looks like a bumbling idiot? So they went on here. I was talking to the black voters that I promised that did not come until now, but here are the black voters.
I think he should run, but it's going to come down to who they think could beat Trump, and he will decide to run. He can't resist that limelight. So it's going to find out to a candidate who can beat him. And so far, I don't see anybody other but Joe being able to do it.
I really can't think of nobody else that's put themselves in the forefront that could rumble with Trump. It's going to be.
Is President Biden still the only Democrat that you think could beat Donald Trump in 2024?
It would be hard to say. We would have to see who comes forward. I would be, as much as I would love for Biden to stay into power, I just don't, I would not advise it, not just because of his age. I mean, that's part of it, but I just think that I am concerned about his health. I'm concerned about his stamina to be able to go the long haul.
Now, again, black voter voted for Biden. Clearly ain't watching evil Fox News, but she's concerned about his health. Biden, hasn't been any arguments about his health. His mental health, yes, but not his health. And you notice that she's hedging every time she talks about it. She's trying not to say those words: mental health, acuity, cognitive abilities.
And that's a taxing job, period. I mean, he came into an enormous amount of issues with the pandemic and, trying to get jobs back on track. And he
thought he did that.
He's done a lot in a short amount of time, but I'm concerned and I see the...
Yeah, he's done so much. Why wouldn't you give him a second chance? Why wouldn't you let him run again? He's been so fantastic.
Deterioration just from day one up until now. Yeah. So I'm more concerned about his health.
What specifically do you see as the deterioration?
In terms of his mental stability, he's walking a little bit slower, just a tad, but you can see there are signs there. And I know he does his best to try to hide it or whatever you want to say about it. But, I mean, he's going through life changes, and that's the reality. And I just wouldn't want that amount of pressure on his life beyond another 4 years.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not he would be able to stand up against Trump. Did Gene Simmons of Kiss actually call Kanye a problematic nigga in an interview? I've got to get, do you have that audio? Send that to me, please. Robert says, put the Weekend at Bernie's corpse up against Biden and he'd win. Very true. Yeah, I'm going to watch that debate later on, DeSantis versus Charlie Crist. I can't wait to see that. Real Americans actually have been talking about the cost of living under the Biden administration and who they blame. But before I play that, this is interesting because Democrats, they're not very smart. And this is look, I understand it's their job to spin stories or to spin the narrative. Hopefully people will catch on or believe it. Maybe they'll repeat the same nonsense. But if Nancy Pelosi thinks that this is going to fly, I don't know what is, or maybe she's just dumb.
And the fact is that when I hear people talk about inflation, as I heard him there, we have to change that subject. Inflation is a global phenomenon. Yes. The EU, the European Union, the UK, the British have a higher inflation rate than we do here.
What's that got to do with the price of gas here? You think that that's going to help me at the pump? That when I go there and I spend $3.59 on a gallon of gas, that I'm supposed to think to myself, well, those Europeans got it worse than I do. That's not how not how anybody works. Nobody gives two damns about who's got it worse. I've got my own problems. F everybody else's. It's what's going on in my pocket. I can't help the next guy if I can't afford to even give that guy $1. If you really want me to be an altruistic, all-caring, and all sympathetic human being, what do you mean? We got to change the conversation. The people in Europe have it harder than you do. What? Tell me how that's helping me in any way. But here's the thing. This shows you how stupid this old woman is. She says it's not about inflation. Here's what it's about.
It's not, the fight is not about inflation. It's about the cost of living.
How is that not the same thing, stupid? Cost of living is high because of inflation. They go hand in hand. Here are real Americans talking about how they're pretty much what gas prices are doing to them and how tough it is and what most people would call nickel and dime, what it really does to people's pocketbooks.
Who do you blame for these gas prices?
Biden.
It goes way down the line, actually, all the way to the president.
The relations with the oil countries that we had before, he kind of scrambled everything up.
Well, I think his policies of taking America out of the regular fuel, you know what I mean? And they don't want us to have coal or anything like that, so they want to go all that new energy, but to me, they should have had something in place before they did that. Now we're at the mercy of the other countries.
How has the price of gas impacted you?
I barely drive it. I actually don't. This car mileage has gone way down.
I feel it in my pocketbook a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I can afford it, but yeah. But, it's still something I hadn't planned on.
Well, me personally, it's a tremendous impact. It's probably upped everything about 70%. I mean, to me, it seems like I'm going to go out west. I actually have a planned trip to go out west, and it's double the fuel cost that I normally would have.
It's not as easy. Everything's more expensive.
I'll only drive 12 miles to work and 12 miles home, and I'm still hurting.
I opt not to drive unless I have to.
Your co-workers also feeling the pinch?
Of course, we all do. We all do.
Do you think it'll impact the midterm elections at all?
Yeah, I think the spending period is gonna determine what's going on, because it's gonna hurt our kids too. You know what I mean?
Do you think that the midterms will be a referendum on Biden's policies?
Well, I hope so.
I think it's going to hurt them. Yeah, because like I say, they should have had infrastructure in place before making this change.
Tell me, I don't know whether or not anyone's ever seen this movie, but I'm going to say a name, and he comes to mind when I look at this guy on the screen. Do you remember who Sonny Marcone is? He even sounds a little like him. Does anybody know who Sonny Marcone is? This is going back. But when this guy talks, I can't stop thinking of the actor who played Sonny Marcone.
Was it less expensive under Trump?
Yes, just everything before it was less expensive.
How have the high gas prices impacted you?
Well, it's affected me with my work company, the company I work with. We're paying $5.15 a gallon for diesel. My gas prices, apparently not as high as that. They're almost $4 a gallon. And I travel. Granted, I don't live far from here, but I'm trying to buy a house up in West Virginia, and my truck don't get that best on gas, so I'm filling up 2-3 times a week. 2 years ago, my truck, it took $60 at the most to fill up. Now I'm spending $80, $90 at a pump at a time.
And I remember, I'm not going to lie, I used to complain to fill up my gas tank. I got a 6-cylinder, a mid-sized sedan. It used to cost me $45 on a good day to fill up my tank during the Trump administration. Now that same tank is $62. So $22 doesn't seem bad, but here's the thing. Having to fill that up twice a week is incredible because I didn't even have to fill it up that bad. 21 days supply on diesel supply. Wow, 21 days. That's right. I heard about that. 21 days of diesel fuel is left. Rama says, I make more money in 2 hours talking in a recording studio than working 2 weeks on his part-time job. That barely covers the cost of living. Needless to say, I've been pretty pissed. You should be. You should be. Which, by the way, Rama, I'm going to send you a text about that because I want you to I want to ask you something about your recording thing because my stepson's, I told him about you while we were in Disney World, but I'll ask you about that later. Anyway, so here's more of this.
Wow, so that eats into your bottom line, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely it does. Between that and the price of everything else going up, it affects everything. Yeah. The cost of living is going up, and it's getting hard to make a living now, even on $18, $19 an hour. I'm scraping pot.
I actually have a business, a dealership, so we fill up a lot of gas tanks. It's one of our promises. Hey, you buy from us, we fill up your gas tank. And as it was climbing up and up, it was like $5 a gallon at one point, right? It was kind of getting ridiculous. I got a lot of V8s I got to fill. I'm spending like $100 a tank. So you add that up, times about like 30 cars a month. That's $3K pop. Every month, it's coming in, there's a lot of money being spent, you know what I'm saying? Inflation is also a factor in all this. So as the money also gets worth a little bit less, I guess you got to expect for everything else to go a little bit up. But gas has been a little bit ridiculous. I know for some people, I've had people that work for me, they can't get to work because they can't fill up their car until they get paid. And they just heard it, and they like, yo, can you give us advance on a check? I can't fill up my car and this and that. So it's kind of, time struggle, but.
Can you imagine that? An employee asking you to give them an advance on their check so they can put gas in their car. Damn. And they work at a car dealership. Come on.
How much do you think that the gas prices have impacted your monthly budget?
Oh, man, tremendously. It's got to be at least like $200 less in my pocket every week. I would say 200, 100 at least. And, it might not sound like the biggest amount of money, but it could really definitely play a factor. Once it adds up, it's 52 weeks a year.
Yeah, 52 weeks a year. Yeah, it doesn't seem like much. $200 a week. Yeah, it adds up. If he's interested in VO, there's a conference coming up. Okay. All right. Oh, is there? Okay, the same one where we're here. Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't know whether or not he's interested, but I'm going to ask him about it because he's really into that world, or at least he likes that world. What was there? Something left here? I think that was it. That's pretty much where we are. Gosh, we covered everything. We took phone calls. Wow. All right. We had a pretty rocking day today. All right, folks, you know what that sound means. It's time for you to get up out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Please remember that panic is not planted, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. We hope to see you back here tomorrow, too. Be good to each other. Holla, holla, pop, pop.